with me, man. I'm gonna tell the kids. I'm so excited. Hello?
Asian basketball. Thank you. Welcome to the Asian basketball. Yeah, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah. Hello, hello. Just let me know when you want me to start. Okay, can I start? Okay. Welcome everyone to Tan Binh Stadium in Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam. You're watching Asian basketball, where the home team, Saigon Heat, is hosting the visiting Indonesia Warriors. This game is really a tale of two teams. You have the number 2 team in the league, Indonesia Warriors, fighting for position, fighting for the number 1 position in the league, and the last place, Saigon Heat, fighting for pride. The Saigon Heat have lost their last 11 games, and they are really looking to win, build some momentum, and play for pride this game. This is a team that has been absolutely decimated by injuries to their star players, and in this game, their leading scorer and the league's leading scorer, Dior Lohorn, will not be in this game and will not be with the Saigon Heat for the rest of the season due to an injury. Meanwhile, on the Indonesia Warriors side, they just came off a tough loss against the Malaysia Westport Dragons, where they lost by 1 point, but they're still in second place in the league with a 12-4 record, and they'll really be looking to integrate their new point guard, Stanley Pringle, who was their starting point guard last year, into the lineup. So the Indonesia Warriors will really be trying to figure out how to work Stanley Pringle back into the lineup. He'll be coming off the bench today. I spoke with Coach Todd Purvis as we see the Saigon Heat intro. But Coach Todd Purvis told me that normal starter at the small forward position, Christian Dodo Sitepu, is actually sick, so he'll be sitting today, and in his place, Amin Prihantono will be starting the game for the Indonesia Warriors. Meanwhile, and as we have a look at Justin Howard, who is the new import player for the Saigon Heat, he is in to replace the injured Dior Lohorn, who will be out for the rest of the season. So that's a big blow to the Saigon Heat, and they will need their perimeter players to really knock down shots to make up for his lost scoring. and they will count on big Justin Howard from Mercer College, who has played in 5 countries around the world, to really step in and be their enforcer, grab a lot of rebounds, and score some points inside. Right now, we are going to pause for the Vietnamese national anthem.
Indonesia anthem.
Anthem from Indonesia. National anthem, Vietnamese national anthem, and that will give the local Saigon Heat players a lot to go play for this game. They are playing for pride. Their team only has 7 players today, and the local Vietnamese players will be counted on to deliver for their team. All right, so why don't we talk about the keys to today's game for the 3-12 Saigon Heat, who are in 6th place right now. Their keys for this game are to establish an inside presence with David Palmer, who is back after serving a 1-game suspension, and their new import player, Justin Howard. Establish that inside presence and play an inside-out game where the Heat perimeter players will be counted on to make some shots. They will also have to make sure they get back on transition defense, as their offense is really reliant on the outside shot. So look for the Heat to really try to play a strong team game. Meanwhile, for the Indonesia Warriors, they had a tough loss against the Malaysia Dragons, losing by 1 point, and probably the most entertaining game of the ABL this season. And their keys for today are going to be defense, to really pack the paint and prevent the Saigon Heat from scoring any easy buckets in the paint. They're also going to pressure the Saigon Heat point guards, put a lot of pressure on the guards, and at the same time integrate Stanley Pringle, their starting point guard from last season, and he helped lead their team to a championship, and it's been a long journey back for Stanley Pringle, missing the first 16 games for his Indonesia Warriors. So let's see how Coach Todd Purvis uses Stanley Pringle today. It's a warm Wednesday evening here in Saigon. Both teams have a really demanding schedule coming up. With the Saigon Heat, after this game, they'll be facing the league-leading San Miguel Beermen in the Philippines this Saturday. And the Indonesia Warriors, after this game, will only have 1 day of rest before squaring off against the Malaysia Dragons this Friday. So a packed schedule for both teams as we watch them walk to the half court to greet each other. We're about to get started here at Tan Binh Stadium. This is ASEAN basketball. You can catch this on the ASEAN basketball live stream, which is available at ASEANBasketballLeague.com and also on YouTube. So you can follow this game wherever you are, on your mobile phones, on your computers, on the ABL live stream. So starting for the Indonesia Warriors, we have Steve Thomas at center, Amin Priantono at small forward, Mario Wusang, John Smith, and Chris Daniels. And for the Saigon Heat, we have David Palmer, Dun Trung, Jai Reyes at point guard, Chris Dumoulin at small forward, and new import player Justin Howard. And we're off. First quarter action from Tan Binh Stadium. John Smith, point guard for the Warriors, brings up the ball, shoots and scores. And that's a great start for John Smith, who has really proven his value here in the ABL and for the Indonesia Warriors. In fact, when the Warriors had to drop a player as they brought Stan Pringle back into the lineup, they had to drop Richard Smith in that move, and that's a pass to Christian Olinog, who misses the long jumper, but Trung hustles for the rebound, and that is what Trung does for the Saigon Heat. He is their hustle player. Jai Reyes into the paint, beautiful pass to Justin Howard, and there's a foul. So Justin Howard will get a pair of free throws for potentially his first 2 points as a Saigon Heat member. Crowd here at Tan Binh Stadium, about 60 to 70% full. They have never given up on their team, even though the Heat have lost their last 11 straight. In fact, I talked to David Palmer before the game, and he told me that this team will fight to the very end, and so has their home team crowd. It is absolutely raucous here as Justin Howard scores his first point from the free throw line as a Heat member. That's a fantastic start for Justin Howard. Knocks down his first 2 free throws on the board. So it's 2-2 in the first quarter here. We have Dumoulin trying to pressure John Smith at the top of the key. Chris Daniels into Steve Thomas, who muscles his way for a nice up and under move. And that's Steve Thomas with his first 2 points of the game as we watch him barrel into David Palmer and throw up the layup from 2 feet to score. Meanwhile, Jai Reyes takes the three and scores. Jai Reyes walking very gingerly on his injured leg, but he is going to suit up for this team. Meanwhile, Mario Wusang shot in and out, and David Palmer rips down the rebound. Meanwhile, both teams are playing man-on-man defense. And so Toon here looking to distribute, and he turns the ball over to Daniels for his first steal of the game, and Daniels is going to go all the way for the slam dunk. Chris Daniels, one of the most entertaining players as we watch him. Look at him fly to the hoop. One of the most entertaining players in the ABL. he participated in the first ever Sapporo Slam Jam competition, and we saw that he really has hops. Chris Daniels is just an absolute monster. He leads the league. He's one of the leaders in rebounds, blocks, steals, and points. So he is Indonesia Warriors' key player, in my opinion. Mario Wusong comes off the screen, gives it out to Smith. The Heat here trying to play one-on-one defense. Smith with a step back. Boom. Nothing but the bottom. And John Smith has come out absolutely on fire. 2 for 2. And he has 4 points, along with Chris Daniels, who has his other 2 points. But the Saigon Heat are keeping it close. They're down 4-6 in the first quarter. Toon, Strung trying to create room, gives it to Sumalinog. A nice bounce pass to Justin Howard. Does not make the turnaround, gets his own rebound, but is stripped by Chris Daniels. His second steal of the game. Daniels driving down the floor to teammate Steve Thomas, but Thomas cannot finish on the run. And who else is there but Toon Strung with the rebound. Nice look ahead play by Jai Reyes. Justin Howard cannot finish. A nice, smart, as we watch Jai Reyes with the look-ahead pass to Justin Howard, who was fouled very hard by Steve Thomas. A very smart veteran play by Steve Thomas to prevent the easy layup. And so both teams starting off well on offense. Howard misses his first. Howard went to college at Mercer University in the United States and has played professionally in many different countries around the world. He actually played 2 games for the Thailand Slammers earlier this year before getting injured. So he's already making his impact felt. Meanwhile, the Warriors going into Chris Daniels. He's too quick for Justin Howard, but cannot finish the play. Meanwhile, Mario Wusong, wow, he has been on an absolute hot streak with his shot in the past 5-6 games. But John Smith misses badly, doesn't even hit the rim. And here's Jai Reyes in traffic, in too much traffic. And who else is it but Chris Daniels? And he goes up for his second slam jam of the game. And Chris Daniels, as we watch him streak down the court, goes up with 2 hands. Meanwhile, Jai Reyes comes right back down the floor. So Jai Reyes looking ahead here, dishes to David Palmer, who is unstripped from behind. Another great play from Chris Daniels, and Chris Daniels is everywhere on defense. He is an absolute blur. As we see David Palmer telling his team, let's slow down the pace here, make sure we get good opportunities on offense. Coach Jason Rabideau, Lusan intently trying to get his team back on a winning momentum, winning streak. As we look at Minh with a nice step back 3, good look, but can't drain the 3-pointer. And here come the Saigon Heat back down the other way, down by 3 points in the first quarter with 5 minutes and 40 seconds left. Jai Reyes takes it right into Mario Wusong. Had a nice look there, but was short on the jumper. Meanwhile, Mario Wusong says, if you can shoot, so can I, but he cannot make that 3. So, both teams shooting very early in the shot clock. I think the Warriors are used to seeing zone defense, and so they're playing kind of a hurry-up offense at the moment. David Palmer at the top of the 3-point line, his favorite place on the court. Nice step-in move, and he drills the right-hand floater. If you watch him create space against Chris Daniels, one of the elite defenders in the league, and nail the one-hand floater. John Smith, this is to Wusong. Wusong top of the key, looking into Steve Thomas. And Justin Howard is giving him way too much room inside. And Steve Thomas, crafty post player, cannot give him that much space in the post, and he punishes the Heat. Meanwhile, with 4:45 left in the first quarter, we'll be right back. This is ASEAN Basketball. here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. This is ASEAN Basketball League. We have the host, Saigon Heat, down 9-12 against the visiting Indonesia Warriors with 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. And Coach Todd Purvis has made his first round of substitutions, bringing in Jarrett Kenyatta and Stanley Pringle. Indonesia Warriors starting point guard, seeing his first action in the ABL this season. And let's see what sort of impact he will have on this game. I'm sure he is glad to be back on the court. Meanwhile, Jai Reyes, they're trying to get the ball into the post. David Palmer. Meanwhile, Justin Howard has a wide open look, but cannot connect. That might be a little outside his range as Smith brings the ball up to Kenyatta, looking for his shot right away. And they're going to call a blocking foul on Steve Thomas, who is arguing the call. That's Steve Thomas's second foul, and here with FIBA rules, each player has 5 fouls per game. So Steve Thomas already has 2 fouls in the first quarter. We see Kenyatta putting some pressure on Reyes here. And we have local player Wang Trung in. He scored 8 points in the last game. They're looking on him to make a contribution. Wang Trung dishes to Suma Linog, looking for his shot. Takes it in, loses the ball, shot clock, 2 seconds left. Trung launches the prayer, but cannot make a shot. So Wang Trung smartly takes the shot, but that was just great defense from the Indonesia Warriors. And we have another substitution, Donnie Ristanto checking in for Steve Thomas, who has 2 fouls. So for the Indonesia Warriors, they have Kenyatta at the point, John Smith Jr. at the shooting guard, along with Stanley Pringle, and big men, they have Chris Daniels and Donnie in for the Warriors. Meanwhile, the Saigon Heat have gone to a 2-3 zone, switching up the defense. Smith is open for 3, and he drains a 3-pointer. John Smith is on fire. I think John Smith loves Tan Binh Stadium. Last time he played here, he also nailed 6 threes. So John Smith, a former Saigon Heat player, feels at home at Tan Binh Stadium. And there's a holding foul on Ristanto. So as we see Justin Howard battling for position, they're going to call the holding foul on Donnie from the Indonesia Warriors. So the Warriors have 14 fouls. The next foul will send the Saigon Heat to the line. So again, the Saigon Heat trying to establish an inside presence. Suma Linong with a beautiful drive and dish, but Justin Howard cannot hang on to the pass. But that's fantastic penetration from Chris Suma Linong. Justin Howard shakes his head, knows that that was an easy bucket that he missed out on here. So the Heat go to a 2-3 defense against the Warriors. Warriors setting up the play. Pringle at the top of the key. Pringle looking to distribute, gives it to Kenyatta. Kenyatta's shot is long. Jai Reyes pushes it up the floor, and that's the 3rd turnover that Jai Reyes has had. Wow. And that is a foul on Reyes, and let's just hope that Chris Daniels is okay. As we see the Saigon Heat Hot Girls helping Chris Daniels up to his feet, and let's hope, as we watch Chris Daniels, who was pushed by Jai Reyes and had to jump over the advertisement, and he looks to be okay. And the Saigon Heat crowd gives him a warm round of applause. Chris Daniels, one of the absolute stars of this league, and you know, I don't know if anyone plays harder than Chris Daniels in this league. You know, Chris Daniels, that's probably his 2nd poke away. He already has 2 steals in the game, and the Saigon Heat on the break have to be very cognizant of where Chris Daniels and the rest of the Warriors are. That's the 2nd or 3rd time they've gotten the ball poked away from the back. And so the referees, we watch Chris Daniels miss his first free throw. The referees ruled a technical foul on Jai Reyes. They felt that Chris Daniels had a clear path for the slam dunk. So they gave the Warriors 2 free throws and the ball. Daniels misses both free throws, perhaps a bit shaken from running into the Saigon Heat Hot Girls and the advertisement. So let's hope that Chris Daniels is okay. He looks to be fine. Meanwhile, the Warriors have the ball back. Kenyatta brings it up. Into Pringle, back to Kenyatta, who has another open look. And his shot rims in and out. Meanwhile, ball is stripped from Justin Howard, who can't seem to hold on to the ball in this first quarter. But the Saigon Heat will take it in, and even though Kenyatta has missed his 2 threes, I think Coach Todd Purvis would love to see his young point guard take those threes. Those are good looks. Reyes gets the high screen. Dishes out to Palmer. Gives it to Sun, who scored 12 points in his last game. A great outing for Sun. Reyes with the dish, and they're going to call a goaltending foul. As we watch Reyes, looks like he might have gotten away with a charge there, but Sumalina goes up for the layup, and Daniels gets called for the goaltending call. So Coach Todd Purvis absolutely furious. So the Saigon Heat are down 11 to 15, 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Stanley Pringle, shake and bake move. Warriors swing it to Kenyatta, who finally drills a 3. And that is why, folks, that is why the Indonesia Warriors, as we watch Pringle swing it to Smith, swing it to Kenyatta, who drills a 3, that is why the Warriors are one of the top teams in this league. They play unselfish team ball, and they did a great job of breaking down the zone. As we see the turnover from Justin Howard, they did a great job of breaking down the zone and finding the open shot. So also we know that Justin Howard sort of finding his sea legs here in his first game for the Saigon Heat with a few turnovers and a few passes, getting used to his teammates here. So Justin Howard getting acclimated to his new team. Meanwhile, John Smith hits another 3. And John Smith has scored 10 points, 10 out of the Indonesia Warriors' 21 points. So he is absolutely on fire and perhaps sending a message that he is this team's starting point guard. Meanwhile, David Palmer with his first 3-pointer doesn't get it. Sun Lee with the board and is called for 3 seconds. So a great hustle play from Sun, but he got lost amongst the trees there, the Warriors, and didn't get out of the paint. That's a 3-second violation. And the Warriors have nailed these 2 threes and are now up 21 to 11 with 50 seconds left to go. So let's see, the Saigon Heat have gone back to a man-on-man defense. Let's see if that stops the scoring run from the Warriors. And they go to Pringle, their one-on-one weapon. He takes a fall-away jumper, does not connect. Good defense there from the Heat as Reyes pushes the ball 32 seconds, maybe thinking 2-for-1 play, doesn't make it. Palmer, aggressive move, scores and gets the foul. So as we watch Reyes a little out of control, great rebound from Justin Howard. Nice pass there to David Palmer with the strong move. Foul called on Donnie. That's 2 quick fouls on Donnie, who cannot believe the call. That is a tough call there. But the Saigon Heat and David Palmer will take this opportunity for the 3-point play. Palmer hits nothing but twine on his free throw. And so Saigon Heat are down by 7 points. And the Warriors will hold on for the last possession here. Stanley Pringle brings the ball up. So they're going to hold for the last shot of the first quarter here at Binh Stadium. 10 seconds left. He gets a screen from Donnie. Aggressive move, dishes to John Smith, who is short on the 3-pointer. Jai Reyes with the rebound. Tries to shoot the 3. Cannot make it. So, at the end of the first quarter, the Indonesia Warriors lead the Saigon Heat 21-14. You are watching ASEAN Basketball League on the ABL live stream. We'll be right back for second quarter action. back here at Tan Binh Stadium. I'm your commentator, Darren Joe, and the home team, Saigon Heat, are down by 7 points, 14-21 to the visiting Indonesia Warriors. And if we look at the stats from the first quarter, we can see that the Saigon Heat have actually played the number 2 team in the league, Indonesia Warriors, very closely. In fact, they have double the rebounds that the Warriors have. 12 rebounds for the Heat, 6 rebounds for the Warriors. But the Indonesia Warriors have scored 9 points off of turnovers compared to the Saigon Heat's 0 points off of turnovers. And that is the difference in this game. The Saigon Heat need to take better care of the ball. And if they do, they have a great shot at staying in this game. The Indonesia Warriors shot 45% in that first quarter. So let's see if the Saigon Heat can take better care of the ball. Again, Dun Trung with another hustle play. And that is why his teammates love him on the Saigon Heat. He is everywhere on the court on defense and getting rebounds for his team. So Saigon Heat ball here. Sumalinog on the inbounds play, looking for an open teammate. Gets it to Reyes. Dishes to Palmer. Palmer, dangerous cross-court pass to Sumalinog. Can't find any space. Meanwhile, the Warriors have gone to a 2-3 zone. And they're going to call a foul on Sven de Ruyter, who just checked in here. So that's the first team foul for the Warriors in the second quarter. So John Smith from the Indonesia Warriors, absolutely on fire, scored 10 points. Jai Reyes cannot connect on the 3 there. So as we watch Stan Pringle push the ball up to Mario Wusong, who takes a 3 and can't connect, and that's a rarity. Mario Wusong has been on an absolute tear in his last 6 games, averaging 18 points and making 27 out of 50 3-pointers. Meanwhile, Justin Howard, even though he's had a couple turnovers, is making his presence felt as he battles down low with Donnie and Sven de Ruyter and scores the easy layup. Meanwhile, Jared Kenyatta takes the screen. John Smith, nice looking 3-point shot, but cannot connect. And so far, Stanley Pringle has been held scoreless by the Saigon Heat. Meanwhile, David Palmer, his favorite spot on the court, does not drill the 3. So great look from David Palmer. Meanwhile, Mario Wusong. And it looks like they're going to call a holding foul on Sven de Ruyter, number 12. So that's 2 quick fouls on de Ruyter. So Coach Todd Purvis maybe a little upset that there seem to be a lot more foul calls against the Warriors than the Saigon Heat, but the Heat are only down by 5 points here, 16-21. Reyes has a wide open look and hit. So Reyes now has 6 points. As we see Palmer surveying the floor, Reyes has all the time in the world to knock down that jumper. Meanwhile, de Ruyter can't connect. Justin Howard grabs the ball, gets it to Reyes, who pushes it down floor, back to David Palmer, and he is called for a traveling call. And I don't know about that. Let's see the replay. Crowd very vociferously booing the call from the refs. No replay there. I think it was a close call, but I do not think David Palmer traveled there. Meanwhile, the Heat are only down by 2 points here. So Pringle with the crossover, the pull-up floater, and he has missed all 5 of his shots. So Stanley Pringle maybe trying to wipe off some of that rust, being out for the first 16 games of the season. It's showing today. Meanwhile, Palmer with another big man move, but cannot finish. Meanwhile, Kenyatta pushes the ball down the court. He's fast as lightning. Jai Reyes looks like he had position, and they're going to call the charging foul on Jarek Kenyatta. So the Indonesia Warriors already have 4 team fouls with 7 minutes. As we watch the replay there, didn't look like Reyes had position. Good call from the refs. But again, the Warriors have 14 fouls here. As Reyes takes it in, no foul called. Nice defensive play from Daniels to Kenyatta. Nice fake by Wusong. Crafty play from Mario Wusong. Wow. As we see the replay, he fakes David Palmer out of his shoes, goes up for the nice reverse layup. So Warriors back up by 4. They're going to call it a kickball here from Pringle. So Warriors looking a little, have lost their momentum from the end of that first quarter when they went on that 6-0 spurt. So John Smith checks in for Pringle. So Pringle just got a good 8 minutes of burn out on the court. Reyes looking to get the ball in. He turns it over to Kenyatta, to Wusong. Wusong gives it back to Kenyatta, who blows the layup. And the crowd is absolutely going nuts for their star, Tun Trung, who is again hustling and giving everything he has to stop that 2-on-1 fast break. So the crowd really getting behind local product, Tun Trung, for his defensive effort. Okay, John, and they're going to call 5 seconds on the Warriors, and Coach Todd Purvis takes off his jacket, gets into the referee's ear a little. He didn't think that was a 5 seconds. But with 7 minutes left, the Heat are down by 4 points here. So the Warriors have gone to a 2-3 zone, and the Heat are looking to move the ball, and they're looking to get to Justin Howard, who has a huge size advantage over Sven DeRuiter. Meanwhile, ref calls another foul on number 2. So Justin Howard will get to go to the line again, and this could bode well for the Saigon Heat. As I mentioned, the key to this game is establishing their inside presence. And Justin Howard is significantly bigger than everyone else on the court right now. As he misses his free throw, he is now 3 for 5 from the free throw line. Make that 4 for 6. So the Heat cross the 20-point mark, down by 3. With 6 minutes and 37 seconds left in the second quarter. They're doing a great job putting pressure on the Warriors. Their man-on-man game. John Smith gets past 2 Saigon Heat players. Dishes to Wusong with the high floater. Chris Daniels can't get the tip. Meanwhile, they're going to call a foul on the ground against, I believe, David Palmer. That's right, 34, David Palmer. As we watch the replay, Wusong has to go sky high with the floater. Can't connect. Daniels had a good look there with the left-handed tip, couldn't get it. They call a foul on the ground against Palmer. So that's the first team foul for the Saigon Heat. Meanwhile, they're going to call an offensive foul against Mario Wusong, who is absolutely livid. And that's actually the 5th team foul against the Warriors, which means the Saigon Heat will be going to the free throw line. Tun Trung, who plays, well, I guess not. I take that back. The Saigon Heat will have to take the ball in. Excuse me there. It's Justin Howard, nice pass to David Palmer. The 2 turnaround pass and then a finish by David Palmer brings the Saigon Heat within 1. So the Saigon Heat, stripped. Shai Reyes, really active on defense, penetrates, nice dish to Chris Sumalinog, who finishes with the layup. And the Saigon Heat crowd, as we watch the beautiful bounce pass, great fundamental play, Reyes to Sumalinog for the finish. And the Saigon Heat crowd is going absolutely crazy. They have the lead and they're up 24-23. Will this be an upset? Stay tuned on the ABL live stream for second quarter action. Warriors here getting a little complacent. They pounded into Steve Thomas, out to Kenyatta, back into Thomas. And they're going to call a foul on the floor against new import Justin Howard, who cannot believe it. So Justin Howard has really made his presence felt this game. The new import for the Saigon Heat, replacing DR Lohorn, even though he was just called for the foul, has really punished the Indonesia Warriors inside and caused them to have 5 team fouls already in the second quarter. So if the Saigon Heat are able to draw another foul, wow, and what a tip from Chris Daniels there. Chris Daniels all over the place. So the Indonesia Warriors are pressing the Saigon Heat guards who beat the press. Trung gets it to Palmer. So the Heat get by the Indonesia Warriors press. Reyes with a beautiful crossover, but cannot hang on to the ball. Meanwhile, Smith gets it up to Pringle, who finishes, and Pringle has scored his first 2 points of the season, but he is also limping as we see him pick up the loose ball and finish there. Pringle gets his first 2 points. Meanwhile, Reyes takes 2 high screens from the 2 Saigon Heat big men into Howard. But again, Chris Daniels, he is not as big as David Palmer, but his hustle there was incredible. He only has 3 steals, but he really has 6 steals for the Warriors. Again, Chris Daniels putting in a defensive player of the year effort. Meanwhile, Sumalinog gets nothing but the back of the rim there. John Smith has a good look, passes it up, and Jared Kenyatta will set up the offense for the Warriors into big Steve Thomas. Turnaround, jumper with the right hand, good. And Steve Thomas brings the Warriors back up to 31. So the Warriors are up 31-24. Looks like there was a scoreboard malfunction there. Meanwhile, Jai Reyes gets his pass deflected there. So there was a scoreboard error there. The Indonesia Warriors actually had the lead. So with that turnaround jumper from Steve Thomas, they are back up by 7 points. Meanwhile, David Palmer fakes the 3, gets it stretched by who else? Chris Daniels, Pringle, up to number 8, Jared Kenyatta, who finishes with the left hand. And Coach Rabidow is forced to call a timeout and settle his team down as the Warriors are now up 33-24. So the Warriors scored 10 straight points there, could not stop the transition buckets from the Saigon Heat. And they make their run this quarter, and they're now up by 9 points. We'll be right back here. Second quarter action at Tan Binh Stadium. This is the ABL live stream. Okay, ABL diehards, we are back here at Tan Binh Stadium. The visiting Indonesia Warriors are up 33-24 against the home team Saigon Heat, and basketball is a game of runs, and both teams have had their runs in this second quarter. The Heat started the second quarter with a 10-2 run, and then in the last 2 minutes, the Warriors went on their own 10-2 run to bring back their lead to 33-24. Meanwhile, the Warriors pressing the Saigon Heat. Here trying to create some pressure on Jai Reyes. Let's see if the Heat can go back into their big men here. Sumalinog, trapped in the corner, finds Trung, who fakes the shot. Turnaround, dishes to Sumalinog, wide open look, cannot connect. Chris Daniels skies for the rebound. So great rebound there from Chris Daniels. Pringle brings up the ball. So the Heat are sticking with their one-on-one man defense, and Steve Thomas is just abusing David Palmer in the block. That is his 6th point this quarter. So Steve Thomas, big Steve Thomas, has put the Warriors on his shoulders. Let's see if the Heat switch to another defense to prevent Steve Thomas from scoring inside. Jai Reyes with a beautiful three-point basket, takes the screen, squares his shoulders, and he's a threat from triple distance there. Meanwhile, Kenyatta with a beautiful move cannot finish, but they're going to call a foul on the ground. Here, and I'm not sure what the foul was there, but it was against the Warriors. So Jai Reyes stops the bleeding, connecting with that three, brings his team back within 10. Reyes, another three-pointer, makes it again, and Jai Reyes has scored 2 3-pointers in a row. That's 6 quick points for the Saigon Heat, who are now down by 7. Stanley Pringle takes the pick from Steve Thomas, cannot connect with the jumper. Meanwhile, great pass. Oh, great pass from Reyes, but Justin Howard cannot finish with that layup. Meanwhile, Jared Kenyatta wow, so things are getting very crazy here at Tom Binh Stadium. A lot of up and down play. You can see both teams huffing and puffing. It's another offensive foul. That's the first foul there on, I believe, John Smith. So Jai Reyes has just connected on 2 straight threes, bringing his team back within 7. It's the exact same play here. He takes the pick. It's a nice pass into David Palmer, who cannot hold on to the ball. And I think Palmer banged his knee, and he's hurt. David Palmer will have to step out here. Oh no. And this is really discouraging news for the Saigon Heat. David Palmer, the heart and soul of the Saigon Heat, looks like he might have injured his right knee. And for a team that has experienced all sorts of injuries to their star players, to not only David Palmer earlier this season, but Al Vergara, their starting point guard, who will have to sit out for the rest of the season, Dior Lohorn, the league's leading scorer, and the Saigon Heat's leading scorer. This could be an absolutely devastating blow for the Saigon Heat. So this is second quarter action here, Heat versus Warriors. We'll be back in just a moment. Heat down 30 to the visiting Indonesia Warriors 37. With 2 minutes left to go in this second quarter, let's see if the last place Heat can keep this game close and within 5 points. We have Reyes, Palmer, Trung, Sumalinog, and Howard in for the Heat, and we have Amin Priyotanto, Steve Thomas, Chris Daniels, John Smith, and Stanley Pringle back for the Warriors in the game. Sumalinog with the crossover move, looking to get it into Justin Howard, backs down Steve Thomas, gives it out to Palmer with a nice back to the basket move, but can't connect on the floater. Meanwhile, Justin Howard with the hustle play throws it off John Smith, but the officials reverse their call and say that Smith threw it off the Warriors player and it hit Howard again. So, Indonesia Warrior ball. Stanley Pringle brings it up with 1 minute and 45 seconds left to go. in this first half. He takes the screen from Steve Thomas, who finds a wide open Chris Daniels, and I think David Palmer got caught sleeping there, lost Chris Daniels, who is so active. As we watch the replay, Palmer got lost on the screen, miscommunication on the Saigon Heat, and Daniels scores the easy layup. Palmer throws up the wild shot, can't connect. And John Smith, oh, nice strip from Justin Howard, gets it to Sumalinog. Sumalinog back to Howard, who takes it in, but is fouled on the play by number 3, Stanley Pringle. So Justin Howard, as we watch him miss the layup, absolutely swatted the ball from behind Stanley Pringle there. Wishes he connected on that breakaway layup, but he'll go to the free throw line for a pair. So the Heat, even with only 7 players in their lineup, keeping this game close, only down by 8 points. You know, with the Saigon Heat trying to come back from a really brutal loss to the San Miguel Beermen a week ago, where they lost by the greatest margin in ABL League history, losing by 52 points to the blazing hot San Miguel Beermen. So they're right in this game. Meanwhile, Amin has a wide open look and throws up an air ball. So Amin misses very badly with that shot. Meanwhile, Reyes, hounded by John Smith, trying to create space, gets it into Palmer, but Palmer's stripped by Smith. Meanwhile, big Steve Thomas out to Chris Daniels, who is stripped by Sumalinog, so 2 strips in a row. Reyes trying to get away from John Smith, and he is in pain. So Jai Reyes, one of the quickest players in the league, as we watch him do this spin move here, runs into his own player there and lands awkwardly on his right ankle, even though he's holding his left ankle. And Coach Rab from the Saigon Heat, very concerned for his player as Jai Reyes gets up. And Jai Reyes, let's talk a little bit about Jai Reyes. Jai Reyes is second in the league in assists, but he has been injured for the past couple games for the Saigon Heat. And Jai Reyes is giving his Saigon Heat everything he has, playing while injured, to give his team a chance against the number 2 ranked Indonesia Warriors. So it looks like Wang Chung will step in to give Jai Reyes a break. Coach Rab wants to make sure Jai is okay and that his ankle's all right. So Wang Chung will step in and shoot these 2 free throws. Wang makes his first shot. Wang Chung got a really nice stroke. Vocal player from Vietnam. Hits his second. That's got to give Wang Chung a lot of confidence here as the Saigon Heat down by 6 points as Stanley Pringle brings up the ball against the 2-3 zone. Amin dishes to John Smith. Smith into Steve Thomas to Smith. Wow, Amin with a wide open look. Doesn't get it. Oh, and that is a bad break for the Saigon Heat. Amin with his second air ball, can't convert. And Trung has to get it down to Chris Sumalinog. 10 seconds left. Gets it in to Justin Howard, who goes up strong and finishes with a layup of his own. 1 second left. Smith gets it off before the buzzer and nearly makes the 3-point shot. So the Indonesia Warriors are up by 5 points against the Saigon Heat. And what an exciting first half. The Saigon Heat fighting with everything they have against the tough Indonesia Warriors in the first half. We'll be back for second half action at Tan Binh Stadium in Saigon, Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam. Stay tuned.
It's nuts. 92 from knockout.
Welcome back to Tan Binh Stadium. This is your host Darren, and I am here. The Saigon Heat are down 36-41 against the Indonesia Warriors, keeping it very, very close. So expect this to be a very exciting second half. If we look at the stats from the first half, the Indonesia Warriors have absolutely dominated the Saigon Heat in the paint with a 26-14 points in the paint advantage. They also have outscored the Saigon Heat with points off of turnovers up 15-7. So I talked to the coaches from both teams, and for the Saigon Heat, their coaches are telling them to really take care of the ball and limit their turnovers. Because if they can do that, they can stay close to this Indonesia Warriors team. Meanwhile, for the Indonesia Warriors, even though this is Stanley Pringle's return to action, it has really been the three-headed monster of Chris Daniels, Steve Thomas, and John Smith, each scoring 10 points apiece. They're keeping the Warriors ahead of the Saigon Heat. And in that first half, there were 14 fouls called on the Indonesia Warriors and only 4 fouls called against the Saigon Heat. So Coach John Purvis had some words with the officials. And here we go, second half action starts with a turnover. Jai Reyes really looking to push the tempo, but slow it down, and draws the first blocking foul on John Smith. And that is the 15th foul that has been called against the Warriors. So the Heat are really taking it to the Warriors and drawing these fouls. Some stats from the first half: Jai Reyes leads his team with 13 points, and new import Justin Howard making his presence felt with 10 points, many of those in the paint. So the Saigon Heat are going to be looking to pound the ball inside here. Jai Reyes looking for a fourth three of the game. It rims in and out, and John Smith is pushing the ball back up the floor. Gets it to Mario Wusong, that's a wide open three, cannot connect, and Palmer grabs the rebound. So Jai Reyes made all 3 of his 3-pointers in the first half, misses his first one there. Meanwhile, the Warriors are going to a man-on-man defense, and it's a bad pass there from Reyes. You know, Justin Howard has got to go to that ball. Meanwhile, Prihantono into Chris Daniels, looking to make a move. Prihantono makes his first 3-pointer, and that has got to be a great confidence booster for Minh, who missed his first 3-pointers taken in the first half. So Reyes, with a familiar set for the Heat, takes the 2 big man screens up top and has another turnover there. So I talked to the assistant coach of the Saigon Heat, and he told me that what the Heat are going to try to do in this second half is pound the ball down low to their big men and take better care of the basketball. If they can limit their turnovers, they have a fighter's chance. Meanwhile, David Palmer gets it into Reyes. Reyes looking for space. Sumalinong fakes the 3, and up and under layup. Cannot connect, and Justin Howard cannot hang on to the ball there. So it will go back to the Indonesia Warriors, who are up by 8 points with 8 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in this third and very crucial quarter for both teams. John Smith brings up the ball to Wusong, who hasn't found his range this game. Meanwhile, Steve Thomas working the post against Justin Howard and drills the jumper. And Steve Thomas has come up big for his team. When the Saigon Heat made that run, as we watched him clear some space and drill the jumper, when his team went down, they got the ball into Steve Thomas in the second quarter, and he just absolutely obliterated the Saigon Heat big men. Meanwhile, Sumalinong out to Trung. Trung takes it in, dishes to Howard for the jumper, and he hits it. So Justin Howard showing that he has some range as well, scoring his 12th point of the game. Meanwhile, they go back into Steve Thomas, and it's just smart basketball from the Indonesia Warriors. Like I said, they hold the advantage, points in the paint, 26-14. And if they keep going into big Steve Thomas, they have the advantage this game. And who do they go to? Steve Thomas, and he scores the layup. Steve Thomas is just a big guy, knows how to use his body to create space, goes up for the layup there for the easy 2 points. Reyes here, trying to create for his team, takes 3 screens in a row, gets trapped, gets it out to Palmer with a mismatch. Reyes for 3, cannot connect. Meanwhile, we're going to call another foul on the floor against number 55, Steve Thomas. And that is his third foul. So Steve Thomas already with 3 fouls in this game. And the Saigon Heat need to attack Steve Thomas and get him into foul trouble because he is absolutely killing them on the offensive end. So we have mopping up a wet spot here on the court. Make sure the players do not twist those ankles, suffer any injuries here. We've had enough injuries this season in the ABL. Sumalinog dishes into Reyes, who takes another 3, his third in the third quarter, and he has gone ice cold 0 for 3 from the three-point line. John Smith calling out the play. Woo! Nice spin move, creates some space, gets it to Amin, who cannot make the 3, but that's a great look for Amin. Meanwhile, Justin Howard gets it to Trung, who slows it down and gives it back to Reyes. Reyes hobbling, looks like he's hurt. Palmer tries to get the pass into Howard, and Chris Daniels is called for the foul. And Chris Daniels, one of the premier defensive players in this game, just rolls his eyes. That's his second foul, and that is already the third team foul for the Indonesia Warriors, bringing their total up to 17 team fouls. So Coach Purvis from the Warriors is not happy with that. Meanwhile, Sumalinog looking to get the ball in. Dangerous pass to Palmer, who gets past Daniels. Oh, and Reyes is going to shoot another 3 and comes up short. So Reyes hobbling. Chris Daniels, quick pass to Smith, who finishes beautifully with the left hand. So again, what is the key for the Saigon Heat? They must get back on defense to prevent transition baskets like John Smith's layup that you just saw there. The Saigon Heat, again, are down 4-on-1 break to Amin, who scores with the layup, and that is quick 4 points for the Warriors. And Coach Rab calls a quick timeout there. We see Amin with a nice finish. Saigon Heat have to slow the pace down in this game. They have to pound it into their big men, and they have to take care of the ball. This is Darren Joe on the ABL live stream. We'll be right back. And you're watching the ABL live stream, which you can catch at ASEANBasketballLeague.com or on ASEAN Basketball League's YouTube channel. Catch all the action on ABL live stream. This is Darren Joe, Saigon Heat commentator here. The Saigon Heat are down by 14 points and have been outscored 11-2 in the first 4 minutes of this third quarter. So let's see if the Heat can stop this run. Palmer takes it deep into the paint. And even with Stephen Thomas with both hands up is called for the foul, and that is costly for the Indonesia Warriors. Stephen Thomas now has 4 fouls. The Warriors have 4 fouls as well, and David Palmer will go to the line. Wow. And the Indonesia Warriors get away with one there. Steve Thomas is not called for the foul. So take back what I said. Steve Thomas still has 3 fouls. Every player under FIBA basketball rules has 5 fouls allowed before they foul out. And meanwhile, Mario Wusong gets it in to Steve Thomas, who hustles, bustles, and is blocked by Justin Howard, who is running the floor. Jai Reyes finds Trung in the corner. Trung gives it to Palmer, looking inside, and who else gets a hand on his ball but Chris Daniels gets the steal. Wusong out to Smith, who's open for the 3. Bang! John Smith lighting it up as He is absolutely unconscious from the outside. That's his 15th point, and he leads his team in scoring in this game. And the Warriors are up by 15 in the third quarter with 5 minutes and 25 seconds left. Another foul on the Indonesia Warriors. This time on number 2, Mario Wusong, who has 4 fouls. And that is 5 team fouls already for the Warriors. So any other foul will take the Saigon Heat back to the line. Speaking of the line, Justin Howard has made his living there. As he makes his first free throw, he is now 7 for 9. So the big man showing that he can shoot free throws with the best of them. Looking for his 8th free throw here. Misses it. As Steve Thomas gets the rebound. So the Saigon Heat sticking with the man-to-man defense here. The Warriors looking to get it into Steve Thomas in the post, and they do. And there's another foul called on the floor on number 73, Justin Howard. So that's the 3rd foul for Justin Howard from the Saigon Heat. Meanwhile, Wang Chung checks in for Dun Chung. So Amin gets it to Wusong, who scores off the inbound play, and that's a foul on Jai Reyes. And those are the plays, folks, that absolutely kill a team. Jai Reyes got caught sleeping there, and Mario Wusong went up for the easy layup and drew the foul. So for those of you watching, whenever you have an inbound play, you never want to let the offensive team pass the ball into the paint. You always want to make sure the ball is passed out to the perimeter, and that time the Saigon Heat did it, and they're paying the price. Warriors will also substitute out Wusong, who completes the 3-point play. So Wusong steps out, and speedy point guard Jarek Kenyatta steps in for the Warriors. Jai Reyes, the only ball handler for the Saigon Heat, takes it all the way. Cannot finish. He had a great wide open look. Meanwhile, Smith pushing it up the floor to Kenyatta, who dishes to Daniels. The nice reverse layup finish. And the Saigon Heat are getting absolutely killed in transition by the Indonesia Warriors in this third quarter. The deficit is now 19. The Saigon Heat have only been able to score 3 points in the first 5 minutes and 20 seconds here. So let's see if they can settle down and get some points on the board. We have a Saigon Heat fan getting really into the game. Meanwhile, Palmer lowers the shoulder, might have gotten away with an offensive foul, but misses the shot. Stanley Pringle is back in for the Warriors. Dishes to Daniels, but with a fantastic look to Steve Thomas, who isn't quite there. Usually, Daniels and Thomas, one of the best front courts in the league. Almost like brothers out there. They know exactly where each other are, but they have the turnover there from Chris Daniels. Jai Reyes, oh, and that's another costly turnover off the foot of Jai Reyes. Again, Jai Reyes, second in the league in assists, one of the best in the league at creating a shot, but having to play all minutes for his Saigon Heat team is tired, and that's leading to some turnovers here on the Saigon Heat side. Again, the Warriors, who do they go to? Steve Thomas down low now against Justin Howard. Oh, and that's a bad entry pass from Jarek Kenyatta. Sumalinog with the steal. Reyes gives it back to Chris Sumalinog, who can also penetrate. Crossover move, loses the ball. Palmer stripped from Chris Daniels. Great defensive play. Kenyatta flies in the air with a wonderful, beautiful finish from Jarek Kenyatta. Wow, how athletic. Look at him float in the air and keep his concentration to finish with that layup. Meanwhile, Justin Howard, turnaround jump shot, and he draws nothing. That's an air ball from Justin Howard, and Howard, looking at his hands, has had a couple great looks, but the ball has slipped out of his hands. And the Heat here really going to need to put an end to the bleeding, as they've only scored 3 points. I'm sorry, they've only scored 5 points in this third quarter, and they're down 62-41. We'll be right back on the ABL live stream. Welcome back to Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. The home team Saigon Heat hosting the Indonesia Warriors. Saigon Heat trying to bring an end to their 11-game losing streak, and things are not looking good for them as they've been outscored 21-5 in this third quarter by the second place Indonesia Warriors. Indonesia Warriors, of course, fighting for that #1 spot in the league, so that when the playoffs come around, they can square off against either the Thailand Slammers or Singapore Slingers. So Indonesia Warriors here fighting for position, and the Saigon Heat fighting for pride. They get the back into Steve Thomas. Pringle trying to penetrate, dishes to Kenyatta, who has a nice look, tries to draw the contact, and makes a crazy tough shot off the glass. Jarek Kenyatta looking a little like Kobe Bryant out there as we go 1 fake, 2 fake, and then under David Palmer off glass. Meanwhile, Saigon Heat, let's see if they can get on the board. Sumalinog gets it to Howard. They go back up top to Reyes, who's been just absolutely hounded by the Warriors. Finds a shot, can't knock it down. So Reyes has gone ice cold in this second half. Meanwhile, Kenyatta pushes it. Nice change of pace to Smith, who's been on fire. Again, Warriors playing disciplined team offense here. They're going to set it up. They're giving Pringle the pick and roll with Steve Thomas. Pringle to Sven de Ruyter, who has checked in. Takes the J, cannot connect. Howard dishes to Reyes. Reyes gets it to Palmer, squaring up against Sven de Ruyter. Nice big man move, and he cannot finish, but they're going to call a foul on the ground against number 12. That's Sven de Ruyter. That's his 4th foul. That is also the Indonesia Warriors' 5th team foul. So David Palmer will go to the line and hopefully knock down these 2 free throws. David Palmer trying to find his offensive rhythm this game, has 8 points to go along with 5 rebounds. Hasn't been able to connect from the outside so far. David Palmer, one of the ABL's best 3-point shooters. And his free throw rims out, but Sumalinog with the hustle play grabs the rebound. And that's 2 quick points, and Coach Todd Purvis has had enough as Donnie Ristanto from the Warriors will check back in. Pringle gets it out to Kenyatta, who scored that amazing bank shot from the free throw line. Takes the pick from Sven de Ruyter. Sven gets it back, trying to muscle his way, and gets rejected by Justin Howard. And that is exactly the type of play that the Heat need from Justin Howard. They need an enforcer. And if Justin Howard can be that inside presence for the Heat, they might be able to eke out some wins here in the last quarter of the ABL season 2013. John Smith with the inbound. Referee trying to settle down Wang Chung, who's in. So for the Warriors, we have Smith, Kenyatta, Pringle, Donnie Ristanto, and Steve Thomas. As Pringle gets the ball, tries to use glass, can't connect. Reyes pushes the ball, dribbling between defenders, a little out of control there. Meanwhile, Justin Howard can't connect. So a good opportunity there, but no finish. And Kenyatta into Pringle, who takes it right into the heart of the defense, and cannot connect with the floater. Meanwhile, Steve Thomas goes up, another block from Justin Howard. Steve Thomas again can't connect, and Justin Howard clears the rebound. So that's Justin Howard with 2 big blocks. Palmer is going to go all the way and takes it in for the score. The Saigon Heat here showing heart. Palmer takes it right into the heart of the Indonesia Warriors defense and finishes with the layup. Meanwhile, Warriors try to settle it down and get it back into their go-to guy this game, Stephen Thomas, with a nice move, and neither Justin Howard nor David Palmer has been able to stop big Steve Thomas, creating space there with his left arm and then going up for the right hook. So Reyes gets the screen from Palmer, takes it all the way to the hole, and blows the layup. Jai Reyes absolutely blows the layup there, and struggles to get back on defense. Pringle with a nice stutter step there, but David Palmer coming back with the rejection. Palmer swatting the ball into the stands. We have a substitution for the Heat as Jai Reyes is absolutely exhausted, as we can see him walk off the court. So Thun Trung steps in for Vietnam. So we have Trung, Sumalinog, Palmer, Justin Howard, and Wang Trung in for the Saigon Heat. 2 local players from Vietnam in. Meanwhile, we have Chris Daniels, Steve Thomas, Pringle, Kenyatta, and John Smith in for the Warriors. Warriors are up by 20 points with 25 seconds left to go in this third quarter. And again, the Saigon Heat miscommunication on defense as John Smith is able to get the ball into Stephen Thomas, gets fouled going for a layup, and again, another inbounds pass to another Warrior inside the paint. As we take a look at the score here, Warriors up by 20 with 24 seconds left. So a disappointing third quarter here for the Saigon Heat. Only able to score 10 points so far. They've gone cold. Warriors, meanwhile, have scored 26 points. So it's been a 26-10 run for the Warriors in this third quarter. Steve Thomas misses his second. Palmer skies for the rebound there, clears glass, as the Saigon Heat will go for the last shot with 16 seconds left to go. Third quarter action, Tan Binh Stadium. Reyes gets around his defender and can't find Trung. So Reyes has absolutely been struggling, having to play too many minutes on his injury. Reyes has 6 turnovers this game, and so he needs to take better care of the ball. Meanwhile, Stanley Pringle, 6 seconds, ISO, loses it against Sumalinog. Chris Daniels goes up for the layup and blows it. So a lucky break for the Saigon Heat, but they are now down by 21 points. The Indonesia Warriors outscored the Saigon Heat 26-10 in that third quarter. This is Darren Joe on the ABL live stream. Stay tuned. We'll be right back for fourth quarter action between the Saigon Heat and the Indonesia Warriors. Welcome back to Tan Binh Stadium in Ho Chi Minh, Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam. This is Darren Joe on the ABL live stream. We have the visiting Indonesia Warriors up by 21 points against the Saigon Heat here. Fourth quarter, one more quarter left to go. And the difference in this game has been the Indonesia Warriors big men. Stephen Thomas and Chris Daniels have absolutely terrorized the Saigon Heat. Steve Thomas has 17 points, and the Warriors have a 42-18 point in the paint advantage against the Saigon Heat. Meanwhile, Trung dishes to Sumalinag, who hasn't been able to find his stroke. Jai Reyes hits the three. That's a great start for the Saigon Heat. Jai Reyes has 4 threes, but he also has 8 turnovers in this game. So Jai Reyes helping on offense, but also turning the ball over a few too many times this game. Meanwhile, the Heat, that's a backdoor play. Trung with the steal. Another great defensive play from Trung. So in the game for the Heat, we have Reyes, Palmer, Howard, Tun Trung, and Chris Sumalinag, who has the ball as we speak. One step back, cannot make the three-pointer. And Trung, trying to get the rebound, gets called for the foul. And that's a really tough call. That's a really tough call on Tun Trung from the Saigon Heat. Tun Trung, who just got a steal on the one end, was going for the offensive rebound on the other, and gets called for, I guess, unsportsmanlike play. So Jarek Kenyatta steps in for the technical free throw. Drills it. Jarek Kenyatta now has 12 points, and the Indonesia Warriors, as has been the case all season, have fantastic balance all throughout their roster on offense, as Kenyatta misses the second. But in this game, the Indonesia Warriors have 4 players who have scored more than 10 points. They have Stephen Thomas with 17 points, John Smith 15 points, Chris Daniels 12 points, and Jarek Kenyatta with 12. So they're getting great offensive balance from their entire team. Pringle takes the pick from Chris Daniels, brings it into the teeth of the defense, can't find his man. That's a turnover from Stanley Pringle, and he says, "It's my bad." And Stanley Pringle showing a little bit of rust in his first game back after his left meniscus tear that he's spent the whole season recovering from. Meanwhile, Reyes, trying to save some time on the clock, swings it over to Tun Trung. Trung to Sumalinag to Reyes, trying to get the ball into Palmer. Dangerous pass there from Reyes, trying to go cross court, and lucky play there for the Saigon Heat. It looks like David Palmer will inbound the ball. David Palmer, 12 points and 7 rebounds so far this game. Goes up against Chris Daniels, goes left. He's gonna draw the foul, and they're gonna say the foul was on the floor. That's a pushing foul.
Timeout, please. Timeout.
On number 9. So Chris Daniels is called for the foul. Chris Daniels has 4 fouls here. So interesting for the Saigon Heat. If they can really attack the Indonesia Warriors big men, maybe they can make a last-minute run. This is fourth quarter action. We'll be right back on the ABL live stream. Welcome back to Tan Binh Stadium. This is Darren Joe, Saigon Heat commentator. The Indonesia Warriors are up 68-49 with 8 minutes and 46 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. Indonesia Warriors absolutely dominating the Saigon Heat. Points in the paint, up 42-18 advantage. Points in the paint advantage for the Warriors. The Heat trying to find the offensive answer without league leading scorer and team lead scorer Dior Lohorn, who will be out for the rest of the season with a posterior cruciate ligament tear. So the Saigon Heat without Dior Lohorn and point guard Al Vergara for the rest of the season, most likely, trying to make a run here against the Warriors and play for pride here at Tan Binh Stadium. And there's a 3-second violation called on Steve Thomas. So far in this fourth quarter, the Heat have outscored the Warriors 3-1. With Jai Reyes knocking down a three-pointer. So Wang Chung with the ball. They're looking to get it into Justin Howard. They do. He has it, dishes it out to Wang Chung for the three, and he hits. Wang Chung has a great stroke as we watch him. Justin Howard finds Wang Chung here, who calmly knocks down the three. Great release. Meanwhile, Warriors looking to play pick and roll with Pringle. Nice spin move. Out to Smith for another three. Too much, and that's off the back of the rim. And Reyes looks to settle his team down. Gets it into Palmer. Sumalinong fakes the three. Has some space.
3 seconds!
Dishes it out to Reyes. And Jason Rabideau is absolutely furious because Coach, as we look at Coach Rabideau from the Saigon Heat, and the fans here are booing the referees. Coach Rabideau, dangerously close to getting a technical there, but a 3-second violation called on the Saigon Heat. Jared Kenyatta playing a very solid game to Wusong, who misses the three, and Mario Wusong is now 0 for 4 from the three-point range, so cooling off a little after his hot streak. Palmer goes up with a turnaround hook and makes it. The Saigon Heat now down by 14 with 7 minutes left. Coach Rab, a nice move there from Palmer. And it is really loud here at Tan Binh Stadium. Steve Thomas tries to quiet the crowd but can't get it. And here come the Heat. Crowd is absolutely going crazy here in Tan Binh Stadium, and it's another turnover from Reyes. Reyes goes for the steal and is called for the foul. So as we watch the replay, Reyes trying to steal it from Pringle, gets called for the foul, and folks watching on the ABL live stream, I can barely hear myself think. It's so loud in here. Coach Jason Rabideau from the Saigon Heat urging the crowd to get involved. And another turnover there for the Heat. So the Warriors have the ball. John Smith has been making some great passes off the inbounds plays here. And he makes another pass, but it's turned over this time. Spoke too soon. Jai Reyes going Mach 10 speed. And that's another turnover from Jai. Smith to Kenyatta. He cannot finish. Nice rebound from Trung. Trung gives it to Justin Howard. Howard out to Reyes. And Reyes is just dribbling a little too much. You know, Jai Reyes, as we watch him here, he loses control, and Kenyatta is called for the reach-in foul. But I think Reyes got away with one there. And Reyes needs to play a little more under control and get his team set here. Reyes gets it into Sumalinong. Nice spin move, turnaround jumper. Complete, way short. Not a good shot from the Saigon Heat, who are down by 14 points with 6 minutes to play. Meanwhile, Warriors a bit slow to set up their offense. Smith finds Wusong, his 5th try, still can't connect. And that's a foul underneath the basket on number 73. Justin Howard. That's Justin Howard's 4th foul, and he needs to stay in this game if the Saigon Heat have a chance. Meanwhile, John Smith, familiar place on the floor, dishes to Kenyatta for a 3, in and out. Chris Daniels with another rebound. John Smith gets another good look and misses badly. And here comes Reyes. Reyes absolutely hounded by Jarrett Kenyatta. And he gets the ball stolen. Chris Daniels with the breakaway, and he finishes easily over Wang Trung. And that's another point from turnover from the Indonesia Warriors. They're 27th compared to 7 points for the Saigon Heat. So the Heat had it close up through the first half, and with their limited number of players, with only 7 players on the floor, just too tired, and the Indonesia Warrior guards, the combo of Wusang, Kenyatta, and John Smith, have absolutely been hounding Jai Reyes and tiring him out, causing a lot of turnovers. Palmer with a wild pass, and again, here come the Warriors on the break. Smith finds Kenyatta, who goes for the reverse layup and does not finish. Meanwhile, Wusang, 6 3-point try, nothing. Mario Wusang absolutely frustrated with his 3-point shot. Can't buy a bucket if he had money. Meanwhile, Wang Trung trying to play a little 2-man game. Fakes the shot, gets it into Justin Howard, who misses the rim and the backboard. Meanwhile, here come the Indonesia Warriors. Ooh, nice Euro step dribble from Jarrett Kenyatta. That is a thing of beauty. As we see him smile to his bench, Jarrett Kenyatta pulling a Euro Manu Ginobili, James Harden type of move there. Wow, what a finish from Jarrett Kenyatta, who now has 14 points for the Indonesia Warriors. The Saigon Heat are down 54-72 against the Indonesia Warriors in the 4th quarter. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Ho Chi Minh City here in Vietnam. This is Darren Joe commentating on the ABL live stream, which you can catch on ASEANBasketballLeague.com or on ASEAN Basketball League YouTube channel. So find us, catch all the action of every game this season on the ABL live stream. Meanwhile, Jai Reyes again pressured by the Warriors, gets it into Palmer, who can't convert on the open 5-footer. Meanwhile, Mario Wusang gets it into Kenyatta, who's been very hot this 2nd quarter. Whoa, posting up on Jai Reyes. Interesting play here from the Warriors. Gets it out to Steve Thomas, who is short on his 10-foot jumper from the elbow. 4 minutes left to go here in the 4th quarter. Saigon Heat here playing for pride, playing for anything here. And Jai Reyes with a nice floater, which brings the Heat within 14 points. They've outscored the Warriors 15-5 in this quarter, but that has not been enough. Kenyatta, we watch him setting up the offense. Jarrett Kenyatta has really grown in confidence this year. He is a force to be reckoned with on this Warriors team, and so is John Smith. The beautiful pass. A beautiful bounce pass to Chris Daniels, who is trying to find Steve Thomas. And again, that is the Warriors' signature unselfish team offense. They remind me of the San Antonio Spurs. They always try to find the open man, the right man, the mismatch, and they play very disciplined offensive game. Meanwhile, Reyes gets into traffic, gets it to Palmer, was rejected by Steve Thomas. Great defensive play from big man Steve Thomas there at the block. Warriors here trying to get double-digit points in the fourth quarter. Nice little play there to Smith. Doesn't have space. Clears it out. Oh, and Smith is hurt. Smith is hurt, folks. Oh, Chris Daniels with a beautiful bounce pass to Steve Thomas, who wasn't ready for it. Chris Daniels and Steve Thomas always looking for each other down low. Kind of like a Tiago Splitter and Tim Duncan. Down low, John Smith has turned his ankle and is hobbling off the court. Let's hope that John Smith is okay, folks. He's had an absolutely fantastic game. John Smith, 15 points, 3 out of 5 from three-point range, and just playing great defense as always. 3 rebounds as well. John Smith, another great effort for the Indonesia Warriors, and we know why the Warriors want to keep him on their roster. Meanwhile, Christopher Daniels. What can you say about Chris Daniels? Quietly putting up a very Chris Daniels-esque stat line with 12 points, 10 rebounds, 6 steals, 5 assists. Chris Daniels is everywhere on the court for the Indonesia Warriors. We have 2 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in this fourth quarter here for the Saigon Heat. Saigon Heat have a really tough stretch where they're playing without their star and league-leading scorer, Dior Lohorn, and they have to take on the top 2 teams in the ABL, the Indonesia Warriors, who now have a 12-4 record and will soon have a 13-4 record, which will keep them in second place behind the San Miguel Beermen, who have a 13-3 record as we speak right now. Of course, the San Miguel Beermen are playing the Slammers as we speak, and the Beermen will be playing the Saigon Heat this Saturday in the Philippines. So catch that on the ABL live stream this Saturday evening. Meanwhile, Jai Reyes, another three-pointer, cannot connect. Justin Howard with a big offensive rebound. Right-hand hook, gets it. So Howard nets another 2 points, and he's been one of the sole bright spots for the Saigon Heat with 15 points. Chris Daniels finds Wusong, his 7th three-point try, and 7 is a charm for Mario Wusong as he points to the sky. Wusong, one of the league's best three-point shooters, finally makes a 3. And that's a nice end for Mario Wusong. Again, Jai Reyes stripped with the ball, out of control, pulls up, and misses another shot. So Jai Reyes, again, doing everything he can to create for himself and for his teammates, but it's just been too much to handle when you have Jarrett Kenyatta, John Smith, Stanley Pringle, and Wusong hounding you all game. Warriors up 75-58. 1 minute and 40 seconds left. Pringle gets the pick, pull up, cannot make the shot. That's Chris Daniels with another offensive rebound. Meanwhile, they go back to Pringle. Pringle takes the screen, gets it to Kenyatta, drives baseline, finds Daniels with a beautiful bounce pass from Jarrett Kenyatta. What a play. And Kenyatta now has 5 assists to go along with his 14 points. So a great game from Jarrett Kenyatta. Meanwhile, Jai Reyes, another shot, and Jai Reyes needs to pass the ball and get his teammates involved. Jai Reyes is now 6 for 20. And that's a backcourt violation from Mario Wusong. Careless turnover there. Warriors relaxing a little bit. They're up by 19 points. And Coach Rabidow calls a timeout for the Saigon Heat. This is your commentator, Darren Joe, on the ABL live stream. We have 1 minute left in this fourth quarter here in Tan Binh Stadium. The Saigon Heat were winning this game. At one point, they were up by 1 against the Indonesia Warriors, and were only down by 5 points at halftime, 41-36, but are now down 77-58 against the Indonesia Warriors. They've just been outmanned in the paint and outplayed on defense as the Saigon Heat have just turned the ball over one too many times, which has led to a 27-7 advantage for the Indonesia Warriors, points off turnovers. So those are the two biggest differences in these games. The Indonesia Warriors have drastically outscored the Heat in the paint and have drastically outscored the Heat off of turnovers. Saigon Heat, a really tough part of their schedule, as I mentioned, will be facing off against the San Miguel Beermen this Saturday. Meanwhile, you can catch a great game this Friday between the Indonesia Warriors, and Chris Daniels and David Palmer getting into a little bit of a tussle here. Tempers flying on the court. Of course, we know David Palmer had to sit out a one-game suspension for getting tangled with Chris Charles. So meanwhile, refs trying to settle down the game, but the Indonesia Warriors will face off against the Malaysia Dragons this Friday in Indonesia. Of course, the Malaysia Dragons defeated the Indonesia Warriors 80-79 the last time they played. So that's going to be a great game this Friday on the ABL live stream. Palmer brings it back in, misses, but Justin Howard is there for the follow. We watch Palmer trying to create space, and no one boxes out big Justin Howard, who scores on the putback. Meanwhile, Chris Daniels looking for his teammates. Great pass to Sven DeRuiter, rejected by Justin Howard. Wusong misses badly from the outside. So that's another block for Justin Howard, his third block of the game. Now the Warriors will inbound the ball with a 77-60 advantage. 32 seconds left. Let's see if the Heat can keep the Warriors outside the paint here. That's Chris Daniels who misses. Meanwhile, Howard gets the rebound. Jai Reyes pushing the ball back up the floor. Gets past Kenyatta, and Kenyatta will be called for the foul. Third team foul on the Warriors. And this game is in the refrigerator. Unfortunately, the Saigon Heat will now move to 3-13 after this loss. As Reyes takes another three, can't connect. Saigon Heat will have one more chance to score, but the Saigon Heat reeling now with another loss. That's their 12th straight loss for the Saigon Heat, and they're not going to have much time to find the answer. And they take on the San Miguel Beermen this Saturday, the top team in the league. Meanwhile, Palmer, step back, three, nails it. Meanwhile, the Warriors bring the ball back up. Warriors will run out the clock. That's a tough game. So your final score here between the Indonesia Warriors and the Saigon Heat is 77-63. And just to summarize what happened this game, folks, Saigon Heat came in trying to build some confidence, trying to score an upset against the number 2 ranked Indonesia Warriors. And even though they did a great job, given the fact that they were without Dior Lohorn and they had their new import, Justin Howard, they kept it within 5 points after the first half, but the Indonesia Warriors were just too big, too disciplined, and just too good on defense. You know, they forced the Saigon Heat and Jai Reyes into way too many turnovers, and they took advantage with many, many baskets off these turnovers and had many, many points in the paint. So the Indonesia Warriors will win this one and now move to 13-4 in the ABL season. Saigon Heat now move to 3-13, losing their 11th straight loss. So tough loss for the Saigon Heat. They'll try to regroup before facing the San Miguel Beermen this Saturday. Catch that game on the ABL live stream at ASEANBasketballLeague.com. My MVP for the game would definitely be tied between Jarrett Kenyatta and Chris Daniels. Jarrett Kenyatta had a fantastic game, scored 15 points, had 5 assists, and Chris Daniels, as always, an absolute terror on both ends of the floor. So Chris Daniels and Jarrett Kenyatta and John Smith and Stephen Thomas. I mean, who's the MVP? All of them are. The Indonesia Warriors, great team effort here at Tan Binh Stadium, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is Darren Joe commentating on the ABL live stream. We'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.